Andrew Dasburg is now 90 years old and has lived in Taos, New Mexico since 1930. As a close friend of Morgan Russell, Dasburg responded directly to the impact of synchronism. This interview about synchronism and its founder, Morgan Russell, took place in November 1977 in Dasburg's Taos studio, where he continues to work daily. Andrew, where did you first study art? Tell me about that.
First what?
Where did you first study art?
In New York.
Where?
At the Art Students League.
And
on Sundays, my mother used to take me to the Metropolitan Museum.
how old were you about when you started at the League?
Oh, good heavens. I should think around 15, 14, 15.
Quite young.
Yeah.
And who were your teachers?
Well, in the antique class, it was Kenyon Cox. And in the life class, Frank Vincent Dumont. And of course, in Woodstock, it was Burge Harrison.
Oh, would that have been over the summers?
During the summer, yes.
And was that just one summer, or were you with Burge Harrison several summers?
Oh, several.
And what would you have been painting then? What sort of subjects were you painting in Woodstock?
Landscape.
Yes. Would this be a typical example of one of your Woodstock landscapes?
Yes, this is a very early one.
Looks like apple trees. Did Morgan Russell visit you there?
In Woodstock?
Yes.
Later years, yes. He stayed for a few weeks.
Did he study with Burge Harrison?
No. No, he didn't. He wasn't in the class. He just came up for a few weeks in the summer. We had rented a house. But that is Burge Harrison. Good Lord, this is a very old photograph. Where in the world did you get it?
Well, I think we found it in some archives.
So I think...
Where did you first meet Morgan Russell?
The first time, I don't believe I can remember that. In one of the art classes, I think, that he came to occasionally at night.
He studied at night?
Well, he posed during the day.
I see.
Pretty much, you see.
Who did he pose for?
Who did he pose for?
Yes.
Oh, different sculptors, frames, Fraser, let's see, who were some of the sculptors in New York at the time. I can't offhand.
Did he ever pose for Arthur Lee?
Very possibly.
Did Morgan Russell go to Europe, to France, to Paris before you did?
Yes.
And how was he able to go to Paris? Do you know?
Well, I haven't got the evidence, but I think it was Mrs. Whitney. She did some sculpture, didn't she?
Yes, she did. She was a sculptor.
Yes, and he posed for her. And she encouraged him, I believe, and sent him to Paris.
Well, that was very nice of her.
Because he didn't have the means of going there without help. I have no evidence that she sent him there, but I believe she did.
Before he went to Paris, how did he support himself? Do you remember?
Posing.
Posing? Did he?
And working at night in a restaurant.
Mrs. Whitney lived on MacDougall Alley.
Yes.
Did you ever visit her studio?
Yes. Not while she was there. James Earl Fraser, the sculptor, had a studio at McDougal Alley also.
He did.
And we had sketch classes in his, a few of us, with him in his studio at night.
The first time you went to Paris, did you go by yourself?
No. Alfred's mother and I went.
That would be Grace Mott Johnson, the sculptor.
Yes.
Did you meet any important French artists?
Yes, of course. Matisse, Picasso, I met at the Stein.
At the home of Gertrude and Leo Stein?
Yes.
How did you happen to meet Matisse?
To meet you?
To meet Matisse, how did that come about?